My name is Julia Dodson. I'm here to tell you about the positive effects that would come from the legalization of marijuana. When people think of marijuana, they consider it nothing more than a drug that gets you high. The people who believe this do not understand marijuana's entirety due to myths and misunderstandings around it. There should be a legalization of marijuana because of the medical use. It is safer than many legalized drugs, and it is not a gateway drug. The legalization of marijuana has many positive effects that are overlooked because of the way some people view the drug. If you are still on the verge about marijuana, here are some things to help you make up your mind. One of the many benefits is the medical aspect of marijuana. Marijuana can help alleviate symptoms associated with a number of health conditions. It is prescribed by physicians around the world to patients with nausea. It can help people with HIV or AIDS overcome poor appetite and many other things. Marijuana is known to relax muscle tension, spasms, and help with chronic pain. There are many medical purposes that marijuana can be used for, such as cancer, epileptic seizures, fights against depression, ADHD, ADD, fights brain inflammation, Alzheimer's disease, arthritis, Crohn's disease, and many more. Medical marijuana is already legal in 25 U.S. states. Not only does marijuana help with the illnesses, but it also reduces the use of prescription drugs. Studies have shown that medical cannabis has fewer side effects in comparison to painkillers, and patients who use marijuana for medical purposes feel better overall. Unlike painkillers, marijuana is not an addictive drug. Many people who get prescribed on painkillers for a medical purpose end up getting addicted to the drug. This cannot happen with marijuana because it is not an addictive substance. Legalization of marijuana in the 25 states has not led to increased use. Critics of legal medical marijuana argue that cannabis legalization could lead to increased use, especially among minors. However, legalization has had the opposite impact due to the effective regulation and education. Like other drugs, when prescribed to them, the use of the drug is increased. This is not the case with marijuana. Marijuana should be legalized because it is safer than many legalized drugs. For as long as I have been alive, I have been raised to believe that marijuana is a dangerous drug. I was open to the exaggerated myths and dangerous things said about marijuana. With factual evidence, I know that marijuana is safe and has many beneficial uses. For decades, our federal government and supporters of marijuana prohibition have led people to believe that marijuana is so dangerous that it has to be kept illegal at all costs. They have convinced society how bad the drug is and how anyone who uses it is a loser and most likely sits around on the couch all day. However, marijuana is far less harmful than what we are told by most people. The worst drug that is legal, that some people don't even consider a drug, is alcohol. Many people have died from alcohol, but not a single person has died from marijuana use. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention states that more than 30,000 annual deaths are attributed to health effects of alcohol. Unlike alcohol, the CDC does not have a category for the deaths of the health effects of marijuana. People die from alcohol overdoses. There has never been a fatal marijuana overdose. Also, alcohol use is linked to cancer, while marijuana use is linked to fighting cancer. There are many more examples of why marijuana is safer than other drugs, like alcohol. Marijuana should be legalized because it is not a gateway drug like many drugs prescribed by physicians. A big myth surrounding marijuana is that it's a huge gateway drug. Most people who try marijuana never go on to use any other illegal drugs, and the people who do try other drugs do not become dependent on those drugs. For most people, marijuana is an endpoint in drug use rather than a so-called gateway drug. New evidence suggests that marijuana can even serve as an exit drug, helping people reduce or even eliminate their use of more harmful drugs such as opioids or alcohol by easing withdrawal symptoms. Marijuana benefits are overlooked by all the lies and myths that are put on it. Marijuana is safe and helps people by lessening the pains of withdrawals from other drugs. Individuals who start using hard drugs also try alcohol and tobacco before switching to something more potent. In conclusion, the legalization of marijuana is very beneficial for the body. Many people may think it's not, but they fail to realize that legalizing recreational marijuana will add billions to the economy, create hundreds of thousands of jobs, free up scarce police resources, and stop the huge racial disparities in marijuana enforcement. Despite society's outlook on marijuana, it is very impactful for a person and the economy.